All right, we're on the on the play in match 5 of this league, Looting Rug Delver. We're going to take a mulligan. Can't cast spells when you don't have lands. That's kind of greedy, but probably better than a 5. Island, Scry to the top. We have Dismember. We're going to bank on Dismember. We're going to start on Visions. That is exactly what I wanted. Bottom that. Cool. Alright, we found our lands. Now we just need to hope that our interaction lines up. Unclaimed territory on humans. That's cool. I've been waiting to play against humans. I have been testing this build a little bit against humans. I can't say too extensively. The matchup is much better than it used to be in my very limited experience. Hopefully that's enough. Thalia, can I transform? I cannot. But I can play out a boatload of threats. So, you know, that's not necessarily the next best thing, but it's up there. We're not going to attack into a Thalia. That seems really bad. Alright, opponent, you have a turn to do whatever shenanigans you want to do. I will not interact with you whatsoever. Reflector Mage. You got it. Goodbye, Tarmogoyf. Or maybe hello, Tarmogoyf? I'm not sure. What do we got, Delvers? It's a Steam Vents. Well, we're not casting Tarmogoyf this turn. I could dismember this and crack in for 2. I could dismember this. I think I'm just going to pass the turn. I kind of want to play this tapped because Thalia is taxing our mana. If we find a Faithless Looting, it costs 2 mana to cast it anyways, which is pretty bad. I'm probably just going to pass here, take some beats. Dismember is not looking great right now, I gotta say. Costing us 4 life is going to be very real here. Mantis Rider. Well, technically it's costing us 1, because we're definitely killing that. I would love to rip it limb from limb. Do I want to chump Reflector Mage? Doesn't actually matter. Let's kill that. Do I want to chump block the Reflector Mage? I feel like I do. I'm definitely not the beatdown. If both of these transform to a lightning bolt, maybe I become the beatdown. But right now, I'm definitely not. More humans, that would have been pre-combat if they had another champion. We're going to draw a card. What do we have, Delver? It's a forest. We're going to hold that one for Faithless Looting. Let's put Tarmogoyf into play. Now I think Delver's going to poke them. If they have another Reflector Mage, I'm going to be sad that this Delver didn't get to gain us 2 life. But the chances of them having another Reflector Mage aren't huge. Think I'd rather get the point of damage in while the getting's good. This is another Mantis Rider. Alright, we're going to take 3 in the air. We're going to take more than that. Oh, boy. Okay, it's a Lieutenant. Well, wishing that Delver could have chumped. Oh, okay. They do not want to give up a creature to get in an extra 3 damage. They're going to take it slow. What is it, Delver? Is it really good? It's a Misty Rainforest. We just concede, right? We're dead. We take 4. We block 2 of these. If they don't have any humans, we go down to 1. We don't get to attack. We'll let them have a turn. That's fine. Maybe they'll show us something interesting. I don't think there's enough variation among humans lists for us to see anything particularly interesting. Here's Militia Bugler. Fresh out of M19 to make the humans deck that much better. A little bit of card selection, a little bit of card advantage. They got themselves a Champion of the Parish. Remember that Thalia's Lieutenant that we could have taken 1 off of and survived if they didn't have any humans? Turns out they just had, well, humans. Let's block. We get to eat Thalia, so that's good. Delver gets to survive. That's fine. We're going to take some damage, but their creature died. Our creatures didn't die. That's a win of some sort, right? Against humans, my board plan is pretty simple. We have some nice-looking interaction that affects the board here. Quite a bit of it, actually. You could say precisely 7. And we have some counter spells that are, you could say, less than useful against a deck with 4 Cavern of Souls and 4 Aether Vials. We also have Young Pyromancer, which is my last cut, just because I think, once again, that's probably the worst card that's left over. I could see cutting maybe a Looting because of Thalia taxing things, maybe Thought Scour because we're interacting, maybe a Mandrills because of Reflector Mage. I kind of like the idea of cutting Pyromancer, though, because it's not that likely to take over games. Thalia kind of laughs at it quite a bit. We're going to be on the play here. What do we have? A very keepable hand. A very keepable hand. Steam Vents Forest, or do we want to go Stomping Ground Island? Probably Stomping Ground Island. We're going to lead on the Misty. If we have something juicy to Tarfire, we're going to Tarfire. If we don't have something juicy to Tarfire, get a land tapped, cast that Goyf. That is what I classify as juicy Tarfire target. Let's get a Stomping Ground. The opponent would like to keep priority. All right. I would love to pay shock. What's a life total? Let's get rid of that. 4/5 Goyf incoming. That's probably being looted away. We're going to play the fetch out. Helps Mandrills a little bit. Might help out the Tarmogoyf. Thins the deck to a non-zero extent since we want to play our lands anyways. We might not end up having to pay shock off of the Steam Vents. We have a Meddling Mage, almost certainly naming Lightning Bolt in the dark. Snapcaster Mage. Whew. Alright, apparently our opponent knows what's up. I think we're going to Thought Scour here because we might find a burn spell. We found another Tarmogoyf. Well then. We milled Anger, which is a little sad. I'm a Kraken with this one. We can't cast Snapcaster Mage, so we're not getting that Tarfire out of the graveyard. That means we're going to have some very, very beefy Goyfs. Get a Mountain. Goyf number 2. The reason I did that is I don't think I'm going to need to play this anytime soon now. Since they disabled our Snapcaster Mage, double blue is almost not necessary whatsoever. Another Meddling Mage. Is that one on Lightning Bolt? Is it going to be Tarmogoyf untap Reflector Mage the Tarmogoyf so it just never comes back? That one is on Tarmogoyf, alright. Well, we're going to continue crashing in with the team. Now that's interesting. That is very, very interesting. I'm almost positive I want to crack in with both Tarmogoyfs here because any Meddling Mage that blocks to not have them go to 5 is a Meddling Mage that is not bothering me. However, I'm very keenly aware of the 6-life play that is Shock, Dismember, Snap, Tarfire to just obliterate their board. So we're going to crack in here, and I'm going to consider the possibility that I want to pay Shock. I don't think I do. Do I want to cast Mandrills? Creature, our graveyard's doing the work here, right? Land, Tarfire's going to stay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can afford to tap 2 lands and still have Dismember up, which means we can delve 4. That leaves Misty, Tarfire, Serum Visions, 4 card types plus creature. Ooh. Ooh, boy. If I did my math right, do I want Visions or Anger? Anger is a lot less realistic, but it does have that ceiling, so I'm going to leave that. Boy. Boy, oh boy. I want to play out Mandrills here, A, because it just totally puts on the pressure and gets the opponent dead that much faster. B, because of the I'm assuming there's a Reflector Mage incoming. Maybe they're deciding on Bugler here because Reflector Mage probably doesn't do it at this point for them. They scooped. Cool. So I want more pressure there. I want to play around Reflector Mage, causing Goyf to never come back thanks to that Meddling Mage. And it's also nice having a blocker. We can get Mandrills down without bothering the Tarmogoyfs at all until we flashback Tarfire anyways. For us to flashback Tarfire, this has to die. The act of flashing back Tarfire kills another creature such as this, and then our remaining fatties probably just run them over that turn. So I don't think there's a downside to any scenario in which we flashback Tarfire, because if we are, that means A, this is dead, B, we're Tarfiring something, and that means 2 creatures are probably dead, so we're probably winning that game if that happens. So I don't mind the act of flashing back Tarfire, shrinking the Goyf by 2 sizes down to a 3/4. Are we going to run this back? Almost certainly. Did we actually hit any sideboard cards? Maybe that Snapcaster Mage, which they named in the dark and made useless. I don't believe we hit any sideboard cards. We just had turn 1. Was it Serum Visions I played on 1? I actually don't remember anymore. Turn 1 something. I just blanked. That's a bit of a brain fart. I think we're just going to run this back. What was my turn 1 play? We fetched and got a Tarfire. Turn 1 Tarfire. We didn't get a Tarfire. We got a Stomping Ground and then cast Tarfire. But it's the same thing. I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. This is a mulligan, because while it is really, really removal heavy, I love having 3 interactive spells. We get a Steam Vents and we just stop their first 3 things. I think it's going to be too slow. Am I going to keep this? We're on the draw. That's a consideration. This is the kind of hand I've been aggressively mulliganing as of late, because I don't want to get caught missing land drops, but man, I want it. I want to keep it. I really want to be able to keep this hand. I'm going to do it. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. The average 6 is definitely safer, but look at the upside this hand offers us. We Forked Bolt their first threat, and then we cast Lightning Bolt and then Vapor Snag. If they lead on an Aether Vial, which they're not because that's an Ancient Ziggurat, we would lead on a Delver. Here's a champion. Second land. I feel like I don't deserve that, but I'm going to take it. I'm also probably going to kill this, because there's basically no way we're the beatdown in this match. If we were the beatdown, I would slam Delver, but I don't think we are. There also are not a lot of, let's say, sequences, scenarios against the humans deck in which you actually get to, that's probably taking Lightning Bolt, you actually get to get a 2-for-1 with your Forked Bolts. If Champion of the Parish is a 1/1, chances are there aren't any other humans on the battlefield, because the humans player is always going to sequence their champion first, unless they draw it afterwards. Another Delver. Debatably mildly punished, but I'm just going to slam Tarmogoyf here, so I think this is okay. Now we hit a decision point of Steam Vents versus Basic Island, and I think Basic Island is a-okay given the context of our hand. We have enough blue spells between Delver, and Vapor Snag that if we do end up in a place where I want to play Mandrills plus something, we have the spells to do that. This could be another Freebooter. They tapped that for black. They decided against it. Mantis Rider. Opponent, if you could just stop this. Oh, jeez. That's okay. That is a-okay. That's just fine. Bounce this. Get this back. Bolt this. Crack you for 4. Play a Delver that requires us to fetch and shock. What if we play Mandrills instead? Let's think about this. I definitely want to play this Wooded Foothills. We're casting this and this because I'm all about stemming the bleeding. Do we lead on attacking? They're not going to block. But what if we don't use any of our interaction to see what they do first? That means we're definitely not casting Hooting Mandrills on this turn. Hooting Mandrills is the one way I conceive playing a threat in addition to going Bounce Bolt. We play this, we get a basic mountain, we go snag off of this, bolt off of that, Mandrills. That lets us conserve our life, but we still have 2 blue cards in hand, which I'm not really happy about. If we do make that line of play, though, that allows us to play the Delver, we have to fetch and shock, which I really don't like. If I want, I could go... If we do want to play the Mandrills out, we're going to be binning our entire graveyard. No, less 1. We get to leave 1 card. That leaves this as a 2-3. 2-3 Tarmogoyf. That's not the worst. It's going to be blocking sometime soon. I think I'm going to go for this. So, I don't think the opponent's ever blocking with their Mantis Rider, so I think we're just doing everything right now. We'll at least do this part. We're still going to give them the option to block here, make a mistake. But I dare say this Mantis Rider is going to eat a Lightning Bolt. Now, what if... We still don't have to bolt this. Okay, once they play the Freebooter, we do. But, that's a neat line. I'm going to get a basic mountain here, because I want to conserve my life total. They don't have an Aether Vial, so I'm not playing around any instant speed Thalia's Lieutenant shenanigans. I'm going to put a 5th card in the graveyard there, and I'm just going to delve the whole thing. Get rid of it, play my Mandrills. Over to you, opponent. Gives us a little more information. I don't think it's actually going to matter. I think it's pretty likely they're just going to go Freebooter, we're going to bolt, and then, well, that's going to be that. It's also possible they have a Reflector Mage here to bounce the Mandrills, which is going to make me a little sad, but we're not actually that far behind. It's 2 mana for a Thalia. We have to respond to that. Don't have enough mana not to. I'm a little sad that I have these Delvers and I can only cast 1 this turn. Freebooter's fine. You got it. Yup. They know my hand. We're going to draw a card. Land is not good. Is land good? Land means Delver Scry. I'm going to crack in with just the Mandrills because Goyf can block. Are we the beatdown? I'm going to do some combat math, which is something I'm probably not great at because Delver doesn't always do that much combat math. We have few creatures. We definitely want to swing with Mandrills, and I don't think they block because of Trample, so they're going to go to 8. On the crackback, if they have a Thalia's Lieutenant, what if they have 2 Thalia's Lieutenants? If they have 2 Thalia's Lieutenants, their board gets a lot better. Tarmogoyf doesn't block profitably because even if we crack this fetch land, it only becomes a 3-4. This would be a 4-3 with first strike if they have both lieutenants. If they have 1 lieutenant plus Hierarch, they can make the same attack with Thalia, but not with the Freebooter. If I do crack the land now and swing with Goyf, they're probably not attacking. Sorry, they're probably not blocking. If they do, they actually might double block, but I think that's fine because we hit Thalia first. We trade Goyf for both of their creatures. I think that's probably okay. I also want to play around land, Mantis, and Thalia's Lieutenant, but I think if they had another Mantis in hand right now, that would have been the play that turn. Maybe not. Maybe having chump blockers is a little better. I definitely want to play this land because Delver Scry and Growing the Tarmogoyf are really good. I may or may not want to crack it right now so I can play both Delvers. That gives us more chump blockers, which might be excellent. I think I'm going to race. I think this is the part where we race. I don't think they make any blocks here. They did not. I'm going to crack this now. Now, here's another question. Do I just go full race mode? I think I will. If they have Mantis plus Lieutenant, we take 4 off of Mantis and 2 off of Freebooter. That's 6. Getting this shock means that we're going down to 8. We end up at 2. We have both Delvers on the table. If they don't transform, they have Lieutenant, 4-4 Mantis, and Thalia. 4-4 Mantis trades with Mandrills on the crackback. They chump Goyf, and the Delvers look silly. Freebooter probably kills us in that scenario. So if they have Mantis plus Lieutenant, we probably lose by shocking if the Delvers don't transform. What are the chances the Delvers are going to transform? Probably decent. If they don't transform, it's land or creature. I think I'm going to get this tapped. I'm going to play out exactly one Delver here. I don't think I want both just because Delver here isn't... I don't hate shocking to play a Delver because the Delver can chump block, which means we essentially shock and then use the Delver to gain life, so we're kind of reversing that effect when we need to, and when we don't need to, it's fine. We have our creature down, we can be more aggressive. But Freebooter and Mantis Rider have flying, and Delver of Secrets does not, which means we don't get to do the block to gain life mode there, which is very bad. Militia Bugler, interestingly, can only get 2 power creatures, which means it cannot find Mantis Rider, which is awesome. Here's a Hierarch. We're probably taking 2 in the air. They might save this to block Delver, though. I think we might still be the beatdown. All right, here's an Exalted Thalia. Here is the question. Is this Delver on Gain Us Life mode? Creature's already in the bin, so this does not grow Tarmogoyf. This board does not yet have a Mantis Rider. Once again, I think if they had it, they would have played it. Then again, they had Bugler, which is also really good. I kind of want to take this 3. If I take this and then crack back, how dead are we? We're going to go to 7. We swing with this. They probably put a decent amount of toughness in front of it. They chump this. If they hit Mantis Rider, I believe we're dead if we don't block. But you know what? We could always theoretically block next turn. I'm going to hope this transforms. What do we got? This is kind of the middle of the road line we're taking here, where we're not shocking and playing Delver really aggressively. It's a Misty. It's the worst possible outcome. I can hold these for Faithless Looting. Faithless Looting is going to cost us 2. We could still theoretically find a 1 mana piece of interaction, which isn't bad. I kind of want to play both of these, though, and say screw Faithless Looting, because if we do hit Faithless Looting, the Delvers transform, which is wicked. And having this in play means we have Delver Scry. Delver Scry might not actually be good. I think I'm actually going to attack first. I definitely crack in with Mandrills. Goyf is debatable. I think I might hold the Goyf back, just because they're going to chump anyway, so I'm going to swing like this. They can't kill Mandrills, so they're probably just going to put Hierarch or Freebooter in front of it. They might put Bugler in front, but in that if they do that, they're dead to Lightning Bolt, which is definitely a consideration for them. On the plus side, this means their Flying Exalted is still intact. Well, on the plus side for them. They are making this block. It's gonna happen. You got it. They're now dead to a Lightning Bolt, which makes me kind of want to do this. I'm definitely playing this. Mantis Rider plus Lieutenant is probably lethal. Mantis Rider plus Hierarch, is that lethal? How much damage can they do with 2 cards? They could theoretically have Mantis plus Mantis because of all these 5-color lands in the Hierarch. I'm assuming they don't have that. That's actually not lethal unless I crack, though. Granted, we're going to have a heck of a time killing them through that. I'm going to play this just because Delver Scry is great. Alright, opponent, this is a heck of a game. Jeez. They're cracking Horizon Canopy. That means they did not draw Pure Gas, which is fantastic. They found a land. They're cracking another one. This is really good for us, because while the opponent is drawing more cards and has a chance to hit Meddling Mage, that's probably naming Lightning Bolt, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. That's what I'm naming right now, Snapcaster Mage. I think that's strictly worse, and here's why. Lightning Bolt's in the graveyard, so you stopped me from flashing that back. But if I draw a Lightning Bolt, you're still dead. They're gonna crack in for 2. Okay, so the opponent is basically saying here, if your Delvers transform, I'm dead anyways. So this blocker doesn't actually matter in the air. What do we got? It's a young pyromancer. Okay, do I want to cast that? They cracked 2 Horizon Canopies, so I'm a little wary of Mantis Rider, but if they had Mantis Rider, I think that comes down instead of Meddling Mage, since they didn't tap this Hierarch. So I'm assuming they don't have Mantis yet. They might rip one off the top, in which case we're very, very close to dead. I don't think Pyromancer does enough. I really don't. I'm gonna get, I think, just a land tapped. Let's get a Breeding Pool. We've got, if it's an instant or sorcery, they just lose on the spot, so I think that's worth it. If it's a Lightning Bolt, they... Oh, maybe that's why they named Snapcaster Mage instead of Lightning Bolt. It's a Basilisk Caller. And we have exactly 4 mana. I would love to cast this for 2. We're going to suit up the guy with Trample, because it means they have to shove at least 2 creatures in front of it. Oh, that's fantastic. And we get to swing with the team. We won. We won. So, Death Touch and Trample. I don't know if there's anyone out here who doesn't know how that works. But basically, Death Touch says 1 damage kills things, and Trample says if you deal enough damage to kill it, move on to the next one. So Mandrills is going to kill anything it sees in 1 hit. Thalia, down. Meddling Mage, down. They take 2. Noble Hierarch chumps here. They take 2 more off of the Delvers. They go to -1. We swing with the team. And they scooped. We just beat humans. Oh, that feels good. Basilisk Caller. I forgot that was an out that's not an instant or sorcery. If they left the... I'm blanking. The freebooter back. Let's go back to that game. That was a lot of fun. Close this. We don't need that. We know how to get out of here. If they left this back, they put 3 guys in front. No, they put 2 guys in front of Mandrills. Go to 1. Chump, eat, eat. So then the Delvers both die. I think in that scenario, I just don't make that attack because they can favorably eat these Delvers. This is gaining us 4 life anyway, so we get to eat most of their board, gain 4, and we're in a very favorable position at that point. I also really like this attack out of the opponent because it's really cognizant of my opponent has a very strong board. They have a lot of draws that are probably going to kill me off the top. I need to actually close out this game. So the opponent's trying to get there off of Kitesail Freebooter, which I really like. They're saying if you hit one of those outs, and there's probably an extra out somewhere because they don't have this to block, but if I hit one of those outs, they're going to lose so that if I happen to not hit a certain string of outs, they're going to win. This is a very... The opponent's not playing to not lose. They're playing to win the subset of games which they can actually win, which is really awesome. And I actually just noticed that Kitesail Freebooter's sword is actually an Egyptian-style sword from ancient Egypt. They had the hooked... I don't think those are technically called scimitars. Maybe a khopesh? I think that's the wrong word. But anyways, their swords were like that because they're made of bronze. And bronze bends very easily. So it hits, it bends a little bit, but it can still cut because it has all of that surface area on the curve that's still actually a usable weapon. Whereas if it was a straight sword, it would get bent in half and it would just be complete garbage after the first clash with somebody's blade or shield or whatever else, maybe even a bone. I'm not sure. They could probably cut through bone. I don't know. I'm not an expert on ancient Egypt weaponry, but I took an ancient civilization course in grade 11, so I know a couple of things about the curve of Egyptian sword. So that's neat. I never actually looked closely enough at the art to see that. We cashed, so that's cool. Next league's free. We got a treasure chest. That's fantastic. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.